Welcome food travelers to episode here in Da Nang, Vietnam, where we head over to a buffet, Poseidon Da Nang Premium for dinner. This buffet is located on the 4th floor of the Vincom Plaza, and they are open daily for lunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and dinner from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. The restaurant is known for the wide variety of seafood, including steamed crab, sashimi, seafood hot pot, and on their website, it does state that they have near 200 dishes. And at the time of this recording, it was 528,000 Vietnamese dong for a weekday lunch. It's about $20 US, and dinner and weekend buffet was 568,000 Vietnamese dong, which is 2160 USD. A total of 3 people was about 1.8 million Vietnamese dong, about 70 USD. And these prices don't include beverages or VAT tax.
Looking through the video, Mike, I really liked seeing that they had the hot stations and everything else. I guess just to clarify for everybody else who's watching, is the mixture, obviously I think there's probably a whole bunch of Vietnamese food, but what other foods did they offer besides that? Majority
is Vietnamese food, and like I stated in the beginning of the video, they do have sashimi and they do have mostly just seafood, as this restaurant is primarily known for their seafood.
Makes sense given the name Poseidon, back from Greek mythology, so that definitely ties to what they're offering, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty surprised because, as you mentioned, they had over the 200 different dishes, and the fact that if the most of it is Vietnamese dishes, that would be pretty interesting, as would pretty much be the offering for so many of those dishes being that of Vietnamese origin.
Yeah, so when we came to this restaurant, it was highly recommended by our local friends there, and they did help us make reservations before coming here, and we got a table close to the start of dinner. And that was actually a really good idea, because right at around 6 p.m. they got super busy. I saw like a long queue waiting outside, and surprisingly, there is also no limit to how much time you can eat here.
That's actually nice to hear. I mean, these days the trend tends to be a limited time where you get, usually on the short end, like Baccano over in Las Vegas, just 90 minutes, and then you have other places that probably average around 2 to 3 hours between there. So definitely that's interesting that they don't have a time limit. Would you say like the capacity is large enough where they can hold a lot of people, or what's the size of the place?
I would say the capacity is pretty good. I saw a huge groups of groups of people coming in, big large families. I mean, as you know, Asian families, they tend to get pretty large, and there's a lot of them. A lot of people sitting in there, a lot of packed kids running around. As you saw earlier in the walkthrough, you saw how crowded it was, just getting around people, just trying to get your food. One thing I did want to say is, because beverages is not included in that price that you're paying, every single time I order a drink, like for example, like a Pepsi or orange juice, it was about like 45,000 Vietnamese dong, which is about $1.30, almost $2 USD. And they make you pay every single time. Like, you have to clear the bill. You can't just open a tab. You just have to pay it and then keep eating.
And that actually might be the trick, I guess, is you eat all the food, you get really thirsty, and then you end up having to buy a whole bunch. And at some point you're like, well, maybe we should stop eating because we're buying so many things. But as you mentioned before, especially with Southeast Asia, they're definitely family oriented. So I could imagine definitely having huge, large families coming over and enjoying something like this, where you would bring all the aunties and uncles and cousins and nieces and nephew and everybody else all having just a huge table and all eating together.
So one thing I found, and I wish I found this earlier, was kind of close by the dessert section. They have this area where you can get bubble tea or milk tea, and that was pretty much what I found out later, that I could just drink this and not have to keep ordering Pepsi or orange juice throughout my meal, because you could just drink the milk tea by itself and that would quench your thirst, essentially.
Did it include water? Is water something extra, or is it something where you would just offer it, or did they do the kind of half and half? You could either choose to buy like bottled water, or you can get something from them for free.
No, water was actually you have to buy a bottle of water. And interesting enough is you see how much seafood there is. You have to use your hands, right? So you would think that wet wipes will be included, but the moment you sit down, they take all the wet wipes away from the table and they make you pay for it.
So like they're already sitting on the table, then once you sit down, it's removed.
Yeah, so they ask you if you want wine or what kind of drinks you want, and then you order it from them. And then hearing that you're not drinking wine, then they take the wine glasses away, and then at the same time they take the wet wipes away.
That's pretty interesting. But I did notice through the video, I did see the classic Southeast Asian, or maybe even just Asian in general, thin tissues that are generally offered. You know, I really hate those because you end up using like a million of them and they don't really work. They rip up and they're super small, and for napkin type uses, it's just really awful. But I saw that was offered.
Yeah, those things are horrible. It's best to like I don't know if you remember, but when we were in Hong Kong, we would buy these individual like Kleenex tissue packs, and those are pretty much recommended throughout Asia. Whenever you travel, you should definitely bring one of those little tiny packs with you so that you can wipe your hands or wipe your mouth, because oftentimes they don't even offer those thin paper tissue paper because they would just make you pay for it.
Yeah, even if they don't have anything or they have just that, especially in street food, you go up to the stall, some people even use tissue paper, not tissue paper, but toilet paper. And they use, since it's pretty similar, and they offer that. So definitely I do remember that time, Micah, in Hong Kong. And I actually do carry now at least one package of kind of like wipes that are normal, thicker layer that last. So definitely a recommendation for anybody who's traveling to keep a pack or more with you.
Yeah, and you can see here in the dessert section, there's really not that much dessert for a buffet. Majority of the buffet is seafood or Vietnamese food, or as I said earlier, sashimi. So if you're like huge seafood lover, and make sure you come here when you don't have any gout issues or anything, because you're gonna have a horrible time if you do.
So in terms of the desserts, like what did they really offer?
In terms of dessert, like your normal fruits that you get from almost any Asian buffet. Then you have like your normal Vietnamese like soup desserts, like they're really sweet. And then you have your flans, and of course pandan.
How was the fruit that they offered?
I thought the fruits were pretty good. They're really sweet. But overall, I think this is a great buffet for the price. Definitely worth a visit if you are in Da Nang. And to wrap up the episode are the notables. Unfortunately for this one, there are none.
If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.